What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 465. How's everyone doing? I'm your host, Stevie, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you?
Really, really good, actually. Thank you very much. And of course, joining us, how the hell you doing, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. Blessed and highly favored, darling.
Hey. All right. Yeah. I feel like we're all in good spirits on this episode 465. You know, when we record this, it's Monday night, but yesterday was Mother's Day, and I'll see my mother a little later for her birthday. I just got off the phone with her. I know you as well, Kodi, probably spoke to your mom because she's away right now. But Jeremy, how was your Mother's Day?
It was really great and peaceful. My friend had a barbecue for a bunch of different moms, and we just drank and hung out, and yeah, it was chill and relaxed.
Miss Nancy looked gorgeous, and I love her hair. Please tell her I love her hair.
Thank you.
Looking sparkling, and yeah, I love her. She's one of my favorite people. So yeah, happy Mother's Day to all. And I couldn't help but talk about some of my favorite pop stars and how they celebrated Mother's Day. Starting off with who I saw last week, Janet Jackson was in concert, and I was going on her Instagram feed today, and she pre-show had all these people record Happy Mother's Day and how happy they were to see Janet Jackson, and many went with their moms on to see Janet Jackson, and she's killing it on this tour. Let me tell you, I mean, it's like star-studded. Tom Cruise was at North Carolina show. We had so many celebrities at our show. It was just like a who's who. So she is killing it. Next in line was Jennifer Lopez, and she did both her mom and Ben Affleck's mom as they went out with the family. I believe it was Jennifer's family, right, Jeremy?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Looking gorgeous, looked like a daytime restaurant event that they went to, looking very spring and lovely. And then they went back and she made everyone watch her movie, which I'm dying to watch on Netflix, called Mother. And It looks so good. She tweeted on her social media that the moms were going to watch this next, and apparently Ben Affleck has a movie out too that I really want to see called Hypnotic, because it has Alice Braga, who I'm a big fan of, but I don't think it's doing so well, so they chose to watch Mother instead, and I think that was a good choice. And lastly, as everyone knows, I love Madonna, and she took all of her children, which is like, I don't know, 6. There's so many of them. They all went to dinner here in New York in the West Village at a place called Alice, seafood Italian, at 9:30 p.m. sensible time. Very Madonna. She still thinks she's in Europe or Lisbon, which I love. A total Madonna move, and they looked lovely too. So it was a Mother's Day extravaganza, and I'm here for it.
Yes, happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day. From Mother's Day to weddings, we're calling this Weddings Galore, and we're going to start with a slew of gay weddings that have just occurred or about to occur. We're going to start with our favorite on this show, and I'm talking about Nicolas Cage and Chris Appleton. They got married, as we already talked about, but they recently went on their honeymoon, and I don't know if you guys happen to see pictures of it, but somewhere in Mexico, Mandarina, they were at the one and only Mandarina place in Mexico that looked amazing, and they posted sexy pictures of them on horseback, looking really chic, but summer chic, having dinner. I mean, it just looked like amazing. I mean, that they're our favorite couple, I think, right, Jeremy?
Definitely.
Yeah, they're our favorite. So congratulations to them. And of course, they did Mexico, which I love, and I'm so happy about that. Moving on to a couple, I really want to hear if you guys are into this couple. Colton Underwood and Jordan C. Brown just tied the knot in Napa this past weekend. And for those of you who don't know, we've talked about Colton before. Colton was on the ABC show, what's it called, Kodi?
I don't know her. No. What?
No, it's a
Bachelor. The Bachelor. She was
thank
on The
you.
Bachelor.
He was on The Bachelor, and
That's
then
right.
it came out right. Then it came out later that he even picked a woman. I think he was engaged to her. The controversy was that maybe he wasn't stalking this woman at one point. Then he came to his senses and decided he's gay. And finally, in 2021, he met Jordan. In 2022, they were posting pictures of them vacationing in Hawaii and buying a house together and so on and so forth. Well, now in 2023, they got married in a lavish wedding in Napa. The wedding was a 3-day event, which included a family dinner on Friday, the wedding on Saturday, and a disco-themed pool party.
Ooh.
Underwood, yeah. So I kind of like that. Colton is 31. His husband is 40. He's a political strategist. And according to People, they were first linked when paparazzi shot them kissing on vacation, like I said, in Hawaii. So sounded like a cool wedding. I think Napa's a great place to get married. Not my favorite couple as opposed to the former. But I think I like the 3-day event package that they put together for their guests. And I want to hear everything that you have to say about these in just a second because I got 2 more.
Wow,
Next,
2 more? Whoa.
2 more. Stick
Marriage
with me.
time.
I know. Next in line was that show that nobody watched or everyone loved to hate, The Real Friends of WeHo. One of the, dare we say, star, Joey Zauzig, tied the knot with his fiance, Brian Grossman, and they did theirs in, where did they do it? In St. Barth, people. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been to St. Barth before and I loved it, and it was actually amazing. Really cool. We decided while in our favorite place in the world, we would make it official. We talked a bunch about what our wedding would look like and where it would be, but decided that it was about us and sharing our love. And last year we visited Rosewood, La Gahina, St. Barth, and both pointed to a cliff over the ocean and said that's where we should get married. We were back for a vacation and decided to seize the opportunity. So they planned this in 48 hours and apparently laughed, cried, and danced all night long. Congratulations.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And then lastly, in wedding news, Anthony Porowski, and you all know him from, oh my gosh, what's the show? The Queer Eye.
Yep.
Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, the reboot. He is engaged to Kevin Harrington, and he's talking about planning the wedding right now. They're talking about an upcoming wedding. He's not giving away too much, but he says that, and he doesn't want to be a groomzilla by any means. He wants to enjoy the moment, and I think that's important. Sounds like it will be a destination wedding as well, because he plans a lot of stuff. So maybe they want it to also be kind of intimate as well. But I'm kind of fans of them too. I think they're very cute.
Yes,
and
they are.
You know, their wedding's going to be like
beautiful,
chic, but probably understated in many ways, I'm sure. Anyways, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on some of these weddings that we're all hearing about?
I think they all sound amazing, and I'm like happy for everyone. I didn't even realize that many couples were getting married.
Yeah, you know, I think ever since, I mean, last year was sort of the impetus for people coming back post-COVID. And so this year, I mean, anyone that ever recorded an EP is now in concert, including the bigwigs. And now everyone's getting married, and there's just so much, like, get a hold of your calendar, people. It's that kind of year. I mean, I overbooked this weekend, and I had to like bow out of one, and it just got dicey. And really, get a hold of your calendar. That's my advice on that. What are your thoughts of a destination wedding, Jeremy? Because you are also in that age bracket where a lot of your girlfriends, now dare we say our guy friends, are all getting married. Are any of them doing destination weddings? And what's your thoughts of a destination wedding?
I like a destination wedding because I like the fact that it's usually a lot more intimate and it's really just whoever makes it to the vacation. I also love it as part of a vacation and kind of like an entrance, like party, dinner, and like just the events that go on when it's part of a vacation. And like I said, I like smaller weddings so much more than like huge extravagant ones. But I've been to big weddings too, and they're also fun. But I definitely love the idea of a destination wedding.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I like them too. It gets you a chance to travel on holiday as well as celebrate this couple. My only two rules, well, my only rule is please don't plan it on a major weekend or like New Year's Eve and take
Oh,
up
yeah.
my particular New Year's Eve. I say that, and I'm going to a New Year's Eve wedding this upcoming year, and I'm looking forward to it. But in general, don't take my holiday away, people, and make it all about you. And then the other thing I like is it means that you get a holiday and you typically don't have to buy them a gift, right? Because you don't. The ones I've got,
Yeah,
because
it's true.
you're
You're spending money on the
you're
ticket.
asking everybody to come out to Greece, Mexico, Napa, not cheap places. So how dare you ask for a gift as well, is what I say. But whatever. Let's just play a game, Kodi. If
Okay.
you
I was
and
scared when you started this
Joe,
conversation.
would you, if you just had to, I know he's in the other room,
No, he's
but
right next to me.
okay. Who would be more likely to want a big wedding as opposed to a small wedding?
Okay, so I definitely want a small wedding. Joe has so much family that I don't think that that's a possibility. And he's so close to all of his family. So I know that we have to invite the aunts, the uncles, the kids, the nieces, the nephews. Everybody has to be there. Nona has to be there. So I know that it's going to be a to do basically. So now, because he's going to have so many people there, he can't outdo me. I got to have all my aunts and uncles and everybody there too from
And
Jersey.
Nona.
So, and my Nona, exactly.
I love
So,
Nona. I never learned about Nona until I moved to New York and New Jersey and Italian Americans, and I love it so much. I live for it. Okay, who would be more likely to want a destination wedding between the two of you, or would you both of you?
I think both of us, honestly, because we love to travel. And I think that a destination wedding is the one way we can actually make something intimate. Like you guys were saying before, we can actually have the people that really love us, because that's what a wedding should be about, in my personal opinion. Everybody that loves us would come. You guys would be invited, of course. I hope you can make it. But yeah, so a destination wedding, both of us would be down for that.
We'll pop the question first, and then we'll decide
I
if
know,
we're going to
right?
make it or not. But
I got scared. Just
yeah, don't get scared.
let plan for 2036. Okay, that's what we're doing.
I love it. Well, keep up with these weddings. We love it so much. All right, switching dramatic gears here. Unfortunately, we have to talk about MPOX, or as we formerly know the term, that monkeypox cases have recently shown a sudden upswing around the U.S., particularly in Chicago, since April 17th. This is according to Howard Brown Health. And I just turned on the news right before we went live here and saw another story about it. The only thing they can say is more cases are showing up, and there's a potential warning that as the warmer months come about, that we're going to see more cases of it. However, what we can also say is that what everybody recommends, all the professional is get vaccinated if you haven't already. So that's basically all you can do. I don't know much more that what else we could say about it, is that that's where we're at with it. So I mean, I can't remember, Jeremy, if you said you got vaccinated or not.
I haven't. No, but I just got a physical, and the my doctor recommended it and gave me the information for the nearest location to have it done.
Yeah, would just take everything that I've seen, and guys, I scour this internet on all these things and
Mm-hmm.
watch so much stuff, is just get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And we always say be safe, but you know what? Don't let this ruin your upcoming plans and seasons, because there's only so much you can do, I feel. So just, get vaccinated for sure if you haven't already. And typically it's
Mm-hmm.
the 2-dose vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
And then leave it at that, I say. I don't know. Kodi, did you have anything to add to it?
No, yeah, I agree with you. Just you can't really worry about it too much. Have fun, but just be prepared for it. And if you have been vaccinated, I just Googled it. Then the booster, they don't recommend. They recommended every 2 or 10 years. So I don't know. That's a big space. But if you got vaccinated last year, then you should be good for this year. So.
Right. And we'll keep posting, we'll keep updated on this and let you guys know. A little programming note this week, this coming Wednesday, May 17th on Tags Live, Joe, Kodi's
I know.
boyfriend, the one we were just talking about, maybe we'll ask him the question about his wedding plans, but he is going to be our special guest. He's going to be talking about his brand new book, which I'm so excited about, Son of a Cop. Super excited about that. All things sex positive, because that's the kind of work that he does as an artist, a graphic artist, photography, and lastly, all things related to Kodi. So join us. The best way to get the link is to go to TAGSPodcast.com and click the link Tags Live, and you'll get the direct link. We go live at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so you don't want to miss it. If you have questions, though, email, direct message us, and we will try and answer them throughout his visit. Are you nervous, Kodi?
I'm so nervous, but I can't wait. It's going to be fun. We always have a good time.
A lot of fun. All right. Well, this is some news here. Grindr has a new desktop version, and they're saying that it's bigger browsing and photos. Some of gay Twitter's a little bit skeptical, but basically, Grindr announced today that for the first time ever, a desktop version of its social platform would be available in addition to the same mobile app most of us know and love. Grindr Web offers a new way for our community to stay connected right from their computer. The company shares in an official press statement announcing that the beta version of the site is now live exclusively to extra and unlimited subscribers. So that's interesting there on that. You might wonder, because a lot of people were like, what's the point? Is it going backwards? Is this Manhunt, I believe, is the old one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which I used to like a lot. So for one, it's all about accessibility and being at your fingertips wherever those might be. Grindr Web will maximize its following with, you can now get 6 profiles across instead of the standard 3 on the app. And you'll also be able to chat with someone while you're browsing. As they write, it's about ease and choosing the Grindr experience that's right for you. With Grindr Web, you can chat with a possible hookup while you answer your boss's email on the phone. Just don't get caught.
Sounds like a setup to me.
Exactly. There's a few other things that you're going to get from it, but gay Twitter was like, really? Grindr Web? Who's trolling for cock on their work laptop? Who needs this? Another posted a picture of, it looked like Bjork, and she's like in front of an 80s laptop or 80s computer, which was hilarious. Somebody said, Grindr's on the web now. That way the entire coffee shop can see me scoping about guys. Got an invite to use Grindr, someone said. So far, the pond near my house has less bugs and it is easier to use. Swing and a miss. Okay. Now Grindr's on the web as of the users are going to be any more reliable. Good point. There's Grindr Web now, somebody else wrote. Another excuse for the gays to be less productive at work. Okay, well, we get it. I personally will potentially use this because I'm on my laptop more, and I don't know. I've said before I don't use the apps that much. We have an upcoming guest, a repeat guest, who is started the site Looking List Personals. He's going to be talking about censorship actually on his particular app. I actually would use this because I love the old Manhunt days and I navigate around my laptop. I do everything on this show with the laptop. I'm always on my laptop. I don't like using the phone much. So maybe for me, this is going to be good. And I think Grindr needs to step up the game because there's a newer app coming out that I'm not at liberty to talk about. They're going to be a guest on our show soon. Ooh. It won't launch until June 1st. Kodi, you'll be interviewing this new app, and they've got a lot of bells and whistles. So I think they've got to speak to how, we've already had the normal apps for so long. It's time to expand the game. I don't know, Jeremy, you use Grindr, I believe. Would you be into Grindr Web?
Yeah, I think I would. I used to use Atom for Atom back in the day on the laptop. So, I mean, I think it would be the same exact kind of thing. And if you know how to multitask, I don't find any issue with it.
In today's day and age, you have to know how to multitask,
Right.
or yeah, I mean, it's just a must. So, absolutely. Kodi, I know you met Joe via the normal phone app.
Mhm.
Would you have used this? I know you mentioned you were a fan of Manhunt in the past.
I know. I was on Adam for Adam and Manhunt, so taking it back all the way to the early 2000s. Yeah, shout out. But yeah, I don't think that I don't see the allure of it. I think once the apps came out and you can actually see who's around you, and I think that's where it really kicks in and where it really takes effect for me as far as these apps are concerned. So, but you know what? To each their own. If it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, I double down on. I think it would be right for me, just because I don't know. I use the phone to get my point across for a text here and there, and I kind of throw it down. And
Mhm.
so I'm much more of, I call me old school, I get it, but it works for me. So it's just more options and more choices and more ways to get us connected, to have hot gay sex. I know I said it early, sorry, but it's our tagline at the end. Hey guys, your buddy Stevie here, and I'm really excited to talk to you about Joy Mode. Recently, I was just in Puerto Vallarta, and I was getting together with a guy, and I wanted to be ready and hard. I didn't want to take one of those prescription medications that go through your bloodstream. I wanted something natural. Joy Mode worked so well with me, and I was so happy that it's naturally based. That's right. It's going to get you ready to go, but in a natural way. Joy Mode is here to save the day. You know, whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. The sexual performance booster is designed to support erection quality and firmness and sex drive, and it contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. It was created with the best-in-class scientists and biochemistry PhDs. After taking the sexual performance booster, blood levels of arginine nitrate will increase, which will direct promote nitric oxide production, penile tissue relaxation, and increased drive. And I can speak from experience that this really worked for me. Meanwhile, the antioxidant action of vitamin C will protect nitric oxide from oxidative degradation, which enhances the blood flow promoting activity of nitric oxide. Collectively, these effects enhance sex drive and blood flow to the penis, resulting in better performance. And even as a bottom, I can tell you, most of my tops want me to be hard. This just makes everybody happy. I love Joy Mode. Joy Mode was created because the products on the market can be terrible. You know, the prescriptions come with all sorts of side effects. Over-the-counter gas station pills are sketchy and fraudulent, but lots of guys take both because they don't have a better option. All you got to do is take this with 6 to 8 ounces of water, just like your favorite electrolyte packet. For best use, consume Joy Mode anywhere from 45 minutes to 4 hours prior to your hot sex. You'll notice better blood flow, better erection quality and firmness, and increased sexual energy and drive. Want to spice things up in the bedroom and boost your sexual performance and do it naturally without nasty prescription drugs? Well, we have a special offer for the Tags audience. Go to usejoymode.com/tags or enter tags, TAGS, at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's usejoymode.com/tags for 20% off your first order. And you know what? Thank you, Joy Mode. It's time, though, for one of my favorite things. It's when you guys write in, talking about our listeners, and ask for us to weigh in, give some advice. The first one comes and they wrote in, this one's kind of directed at Jeremy, but they want us all to weigh in. It says, they wrote, "Hi, Steve. I'm a huge fan of the podcast and occasionally tap into Tags Live. I feel as if you guys are my crew, as the discussions are so relatable to me as a gay man. I love that you all share so much of yourselves building this connection. I have a question specifically for Jeremy, or specially," he wrote, "but also would like all of us, the group, to comment. I now live in New Jersey, Asbury Park, in the New York suburbs. I grew up outside of Boston, and I know Jeremy relocated there from New York. I know this was a return to where he grew up. To me, personally, Boston represents an oppressive place that I would not like to return to. Growing up, I remember it as a place with a high emphasis on sports and a low tolerance for any expression of being gay. Now it's been a minute since I lived there, but I recall the gay scene as being very much on the DL. Most clubs had, quote, gay nights as opposed to being a gay club. And in my day, Ramrod in Kenmore, which recently closed, didn't even have a sign. You just had to know it was there. Like Jeremy, my friends and family would love me to return, and I could as I work remote. But the stigma of my past experience in Boston worries me. How does Jeremy find the Boston gay scene today? Does he miss New York? What does Steve and Kodi think? I believe you guys grew up in the Midwest. Okay, I didn't grow up in the Midwest, but I grew up in the West.
I read that and laughed.
I know. So no worries. I grew up, Alan W. I grew up on the West Coast. Kodi, you grew up in a lot of places. Kansas
A lot
City.
of places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the stigma of the past. So he wants to know, do you think I am connecting the pains of coming out with the place where it happened, and perhaps as a self-confident gay man I would feel differently if I went back to Boston? Would love to hear your take on this, as I value your opinion and think of it frequently. Thank you, first of all, Alan W., and thank you for the accolades, and thank you for sharing this real life issue that you're going through. And I love that you directed it at Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy, first thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on what he's asking about moving back, and what was your experience?
So I think I moved back based off of like the time frame. It was during COVID and all of that, and I think that my initial move was not to relocate fully, and then once I did, I kind of missed being around family, and I figured that New York is close enough for uh,
A Kiki?
like constantly visiting and going for holidays and like my birthday and quick visits and stuff like that, and a long weekend. It's close enough for me. And I also live close enough to Boston that I feel like the scene in Boston is accepting of gays, and a lot of places that I've been to as of recently, the Old Eagle in Boston turned into a bar called Cartel, and that's been like a frequent
Ooh.
hangout that I love, and it's like super fun and chic, and there's a mixed crowd there, so you'll definitely run into gays, but there's also like straight couples, and it's just a cool vibe there. And I have found that the Boston scene is definitely clicky, but I do think that they have their own gay scene. It's obviously not as big as New Jersey or as New York City, and I do miss that. And I don't live so much of a full-fledged, like entirely gay life as I used to, which I do miss aspects of that, but I also go to the city most weekends or every other weekend. And so during the week I'm working and more low key, and then I find that I like visit the gay scene and stuff on the weekends, and it has changed where there are like a handful of gay bars to go to that aren't just gay on a specific night.
Beautifully stated, and I think your particular story. I mean, and there's people will write books on this someday about COVID and the epidemic and how it changed people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very specific to why you went back, what was going on in the world. However, you didn't mention, but you also had an opportunity, career opportunity that worked with your degree and working with your father, that I feel like you're flourishing so much now in something that you design that you actually
Mhm.
went to school for, it pivoted a little bit to housing and interior and even the nuts and bolts of actually construction, which is so cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I think with your story, you went kind of for one reason, okay, a worldwide pandemic, but in the end found something totally different that has been flourishing so well for you. And like you said, you can always come back. Alan's story sounds a little bit different in that the one thing that when you were talking, Jeremy, it reminded me of a friend in Puerto Vallarta that I went to school with, his sister, but now he was 2 years older, and now every time I go to Puerto Vallarta, we hang out with him. He's
Mhm.
lovely. So great that I'm now friends with him after all these years. He has been in a situation where his marriage has fallen apart to this guy, and his family really wants him to move back to California. But I'm like, do you want to move back? Because even though you don't have your life with your husband anymore here, you've created this whole life, and creating a whole life in an international city is a big deal.
Mhm.
I mean, just setting up an Airbnb with my sister is a big deal, and that. But I can only imagine picking up life internationally and creating that. I said, do you really want to, or are you doing it because your family's giving you that pressure right now? So what I would say, Alan, is it's similar to my friend's story as opposed to Jeremy's story, where he's getting pressure from the family, but I don't think he really wants to move. And at least I told my friend, and I'll give you the same advice, Alan, it's like, don't, just because you're feeling pressure, that's their life choice to put that pressure on you.
Mhm.
Take a beat, take a minute. If you've developed a life somewhere, you
I
need to,
also think you have to make the decision for
you
yourself. You can't
do.
let anyone else make it for you.
Right, because you could have moved and then reflected and been like, you know what, guys, I tried it, and no, this isn't for me anymore, and I'm back to New York, and
Yeah, and I think
sayonara.
the other thing you have to think about is that anywhere you leave is never going anywhere. So
Correct.
it's always an option to relocate. It's
Yep.
just a matter of how much do you miss it? Are you willing to sacrifice certain things? Like, obviously, the rent is so much more expensive in New York than it is
Hmm.
here. So, I
Major
mean,
factors to consider.
right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, and so I think you've got to really take it all in and take a minute. I commend you though for putting that out there, and you're getting this pressure. I'm in terms of the nightlife and what will gay life be and the memories that you had. The only thing I'll say, and then we want to hear from Kodi,
Hmm.
is that when I go back to San Francisco, where was really my heyday in my 20s of going out, it's no longer what it is at all. That being said, I went out recently, and we went out to 3 different bars that did not exist when I lived there. We did lament a minute on the old, all the great bars, that like the clubs where I used to dance and
Mhm.
all. But in general, I had a great time. I had a blast. And so your experience is not going to be what it was before. LGBTQ community has moved on, even in Massachusetts. And so you just have to know that it will be different,
Hmm.
but it's not going to be the same as when you were growing up. Hopefully, a little bit more open in your
Yeah.
case. Mine is just that, oh, we don't have all the great dance clubs that we used to have. But I don't know, Kodi, what's your thoughts to give to Alan?
Yeah, I think that maybe he should. It feels like he wants to go back to Boston for his family. I don't know. That's just the interpretation that I got from hearing this story. But I do think that he is scared that he won't be able to live the life that he has where he is, and that is a real factor that he should take into account. My personal opinion would be for him to go and try to live there for um a, a undisclosed amount of time, maybe a short, maybe like a couple weeks or something like that. Take an extended vacation, basically, and then don't give up anything where he is, and then see if it's possible for him to actually live in Boston. personally, because you never know what could happen. And then if it doesn't work for him, it doesn't work for him. He can always move back. Me personally, I could never. I laughed at the Midwest comment because it's me. I used to live in Kansas, and I could never move back to Kansas. My mom is there now, and she is constantly asking me to visit. And I'm like, I don't want to go out there, girl. I do not have anything out there in Kansas for me personally that I want to see. She lives in Derby, Kansas, which is a suburb of Wichita, and I can't see myself out there with no trees. So, yeah, it's everybody is different. If you can take that into account and just take some time and kind of explore your own feelings and what what it takes to make you happy, basically.
I love that. Thanks, Kodi, on that. And lastly, the one thing that came to mind as you were speaking too is if you have some feelings from your past, it's we've got one of our sponsors that you can check out, but therapy is always a good thing too, because those feelings, if they could come up whether you move back home or to Amsterdam. I mean, they can, maybe those are some feelings that you want to like talk to somebody about, and we all have them. I'm not channeling just you. It could come, that can always come up, and you are a new person today, but if you have some of those feelings, and we all have some of them from high school, being bullied, being called names that can haunt us, then therapy is always, or somebody to talk to is always good, and I recommend that as well too,
Oh,
because
yes.
yeah, I mean, you don't want to carry that wherever you move, and you don't want to have hard feelings on where you grew up. You want to look at the positives if you can. But I hope that helped, Alan. Let us know, keep us posted. I really want to know where you end up, or if you stay, or if you move to Amsterdam. Let us know. And we are here for you. We're keeping the advice rolling with another listener who wanted us to weigh in. And they wrote, "Hey, Stevie, I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about what a guy should refer to when it comes to someone's asshole." Their words: "I love it when a guy refers to mine as a pussy. Calling it a hole just doesn't have the same je ne sais quoi. I've been talking to this guy who I really like, but he constantly refers to it as a hole, laughing out loud. He wrote in all caps. What do you guys think? What do you guys like? Should I say something? Sincerely, the guy with the hole." Love that, and love to give we've talked about this before in the show. This isn't a new topic for us, but I love that it keeps coming up. And for me personally, I'm in the moment kind of guy, and I've had guys, it's something that I know instinctively when that I could say the word pussy, or I want them to say it, or they may say it, and I, like you, like that as well. Probably it's maybe some therapy needed on my part, because it's indoctrinated from years and years of heteronormative sex, but it does work for me. And we've talked about other things on this show, like using the F word. I'm talking about faggot in sex, and hey, all is good, whatever works for you in bed. I'm fine with it. I kind of do it by case. I don't need to have it called that. I think sexy talk, everyone's good at it, but I kind of go with it. But if you really want that to be called, I feel like everyone's on one side of the fence or on the other side of the fence with this one. Some people do not like it at all. I once brought it up to a top who I really loved, and he was like, "Oh no, absolutely not." And I knew, okay, back up on that. So I do think you have to kind of be flexible on that. I think lightly bring it up, maybe say it was a topic on a podcast you heard. Don't name us unless you want to help promote us. Then name us, and you could mention that they were talking about this and see how they feel, because I guarantee people are on one side of the fence or the other. Don't take it too personally, I think, if they don't like calling it that. But if you really don't like whole, maybe find another word. But Jeremy, what are your thoughts and advice?
I honestly like any name, and I'm not picky about that. And I think it's just based off of your vibe with the person. And for me, it's not that serious, and I
Thank
find
you.
all of it sexy, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's not that serious, but for a lot of people, it is. I remember being at a dinner party once with people of a certain age, and we
Mm-hmm.
brought this very conversation up. I believe it was before I even had the show. And so many of the older population at the table were like, "Oh, no!" I mean,
Not
practically like couldn't even finish their brunch or whatever. I was like, "Okay, I'm not even going to say that I don't mind it at times because by the reaction that I'm getting at this table." But what are your thoughts, Kodi?
Personally, I like Whole. I think Whole is great. It explains it. It's kind of nondescript, and any Whole is a goal. That's what a wise sage said to me at one point. So I think that Whole is wonderful. But as far as advice for this listener, I think that you should ask for what you want at the end of the day. And if the other person is not really comfortable with calling it a pussy, then I think that man pussy is a nice intermediary, and also bussy, because bussy is like a boy pussy. So I feel like there are other words that you can use besides
I
pussy.
I like that. And did we determine if this person, how long have they been with this person? I'm just reading this about a guy. I don't know that he had anybody in particular, correct?
I thought.
I've been talking to this guy who I
Oh
really
yeah.
like. Okay, too early in the game to be, yeah, right. Talking to this guy. Yeah. I mean, I was with somebody recently and he was Latino, and we were like, I was on top of him, and you know when you're like the person on top, and I was like leaning, where our faces were right next to each other, and he was whispering into my. It came up that way. He brought it up though, actually, like you like your pussy like that. And I'm like, and I was like, yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of a case by case person on this,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked, but it's a tricky one. I think if you're in the talking stages, don't push it yet. But I love what you suggested to Bussy, Man Pussy. Say you heard it on a podcast. Do it for fun when you're having
Yeah.
cocktails.
You can
Kind
make
of
it hot. You can totally make it hot.
well, and do the conversation. Have the conversation before, but in a total, not in bed, right? To what your point, Kodi, was like
Mm-hmm.
you brought up some great things that they could like. I was listening to. Just make it part of the conversation. Like, what do you like, without even saying your opinion yet, and then see maybe he'll be like, oh, I don't really care, or blah blah blah, and you'll. Because I do think some of the ones that don't like it, they're vehemently opposed to it, and I will never forget that brunch that I was at. I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, well, glad I'm not sleeping with you guys.
And
Yeah.
then when you get in bed, tell him wreck this pussy, just like that. So
Okay,
yeah, I think
wreck
that'll work.
this pussy. Whop. Yeah. Wet ass pussy.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
I am kind of intrigued this one, and because it has to do with fashion, it's a Reddit thread that came up recently asking the question: do you guys have one or two fashion items that are deal breakers so far as dating a guy? I love this one. I don't know why I love this one, but for instance, mine are man buns and Apple watches. I tried and tried, and I just cannot vibe with those guys. What are those items for you guys? This is hilarious to me. So many people brought up the Apple Watch is like, good luck, guy, because everyone has an Apple Watch. What I will say about the Apple Watches, it would not be a deal breaker for me because, like everyone said in the comment section on this particular thread, every other guy or person seems to have an Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I don't like Apple Watches on people is I've noticed two of my dearest friends of all time have them, and inevitably I'll be talking to them, and now they're not only getting pinged on their phone but their watch, and both of them look up at it, and I'm notice it, and I don't know that they know that I've noticed it, but it's pulls them out of the conversation a little bit too. It's like now we have one more thing that's pulling them out of the conversation, or bonding time as I like to call it. And so that wouldn't be a deal breaker, but if somebody was looking at it too much. The other thing was, truth be told, I'm a Vanderpump fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
Scandival, I'm all about right now.
Ooh.
And Katie Maloney went on a date, or she's been dating this guy on the show right now. I don't know, guys. The guy went to the beach and he had like these beige shorts, a beige or a faded blue t-shirt, beige socks,
Oh
and
my goodness.
these like Warachi shoes on top of it. And I was like, did Katie not look at him and be like, let's just run to H&M real quick. Let's do a fun style moment. I'll get something, you get something, and this will be fun. Because she was going to meet her group of friends. I don't know. That would be kind of a deal breaker for me if it was like that. Jeremy, do you have a deal breaker for what someone wears?
I don't know. I don't
What are
think
those
that.
shoes that everyone wears?
The
Oh,
Yeezys. That's
I
mine.
hate Yeezys and I hate
Oh
Crocs.
man.
Crocs.
I
So,
think
okay, somebody shows up, Jeremy, on a date next week that you're going on, and they're in pink Crocs.
absolute no.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
What?
definitely like they're just so fucking ugly. I don't know, like I could care less how comfortable they are. They're literally like the ugliest shoe that you could ever buy, and Yeezys are right up there. I know
Mhm.
so many guys have them, but they are fucking ugly too.
Yes,
Are
I
those
agree. I'm so
beige
glad you said that.
shoes? You will usually makes a. I have a pair of Yeezys back before we did not like Kanye and or whatever Yee, and
No, but
they're
I'm
rain
talking about the
boots,
Yeezy. Yeah, yours are not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stretch
beige.
material sneakers that are like nude and
Oh,
gray
that
and
horrible
orange,
nude
and
color.
yeah, I don't like them at all.
The foam
They.
runner, right?
I
Yes,
hate those. They
yeah.
make your feet look bigger than they
But
need
he
to
keeps
be.
coming out with even uglier shit, like these ones that look like Crocs, but they're like alien feet sandals, and those are awful too.
So I love that, and that's definitely I'm with you. I hate those, and same with the Crocs. Yuck. The
Okay.
other
Well,
thing,
I have a
the other.
confession to make. I just bought a pair of Crocs.
Oh my
Cody,
god.
and thank you very much. It's Cody's last day on Tags
I
Podcast.
know. I'm done. Bye, everybody. It was so wonderful getting to know you. I bought them for work. My feet are starting to hurt.
Oh my god.
Okay, got it. Anyways,
I won't wear them in public. I promise. Not like
You know
in a
what? I
public
don't really like
situation.
man buns either.
well,
I
I
mean,
feel like it was a phase, and I've definitely had my fair share of
I
not.
also just I like it when someone has a lot of hair, they do it, but other than that, like if you have just a tiny little bit to put in the man bun, I find it just leave your fucking hair down.
A struggle
Well,
bun.
yeah,
Yes.
trends are interesting because I've definitely fallen into the trends. I feel like man buns were a whole thing 2 years ago. I think if you have beautiful long hair, great, keep it. But I mean, I'm not really mad at the man bun. What I am, I did participate, and I'm kind of cringing at myself right now. Remember the eyebrow trend where you do a slit in it?
I used to do that too. Oh
I
my
did
Oh
goodness.
yes.
it. I did it recently, and I kind of cringe at myself. Like, why did I fall into that trend? That was, I mean,
I'm
and I noticed my barber not like because he would do the line on the side of my head, and then for a while I was like, what about the other one? He was like, oh right, yeah, and then like. Really, I got to do this one, and even he was probably like, not a good one for you." And I'm glad I'm over with it. It grew back, thank God. The other trend recently, a guy came home with me. I met him out at a bar, and when he got dressed the next day, he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to go to the gym." And I'm like, watching him. Apparently, I didn't pay attention. Right? We were so quick to take our clothes off. He's putting his clothes back on, and it was gym shorts, gym shoes, a gym shirt. And I'm thinking, is this how you went out? Like, I put a
wait, he
whole
went to
look
the
to
club like that?
he went to the club like that, and he's
Oh
There's
like,
no,
plenty of gay guys that do
honey.
that.
I was like, okay. I mean, I had this whole webbed shirt on.
Lose that number, honey.
I had a new wallet with a chain on it. I had a whole look together to go out to the club, and I was like, you put on a gym outfit, like, and but smart on him because he left me and ran to the gym. So he was just mad that he didn't have. He was just mad that he didn't have his earbuds. But besides that, he was ready to go. So the kids are doing it that way, and I'm here for it. I mean, Cody, weigh in real quick. Do you have anything that's a deal breaker?
The Yeezys, absolutely, because not only is Kanye West horrible, but they are so ugly. I just can't. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else that somebody could wear that I would be totally against. I keep thinking about like an ugly scarf or like a cravat or something like that. But even still, if they were hot, I would still, before I had a boyfriend, fuck them.
Well, fashion's funny. Is we just recently went to Joe's, your boyfriend's brunch, birthday brunch. It was a surprise brunch at Macy's, Stella's here in New York City, and I was going to wear this whole look. It was like a whole fashion moment. It had a tank top and these like really fashion shorts, but I really wanted this. It's like a long coat, sweatshirt. Anyway, it was very like wrap around, but it was such a beautiful warm day. I'm like, I can't wear this. I'm gonna like sweat.
Yeah.
Like an ugly sweat. So I'm like, and I can't wear, I'm not going to wear a tank top to brunch. So meanwhile, I switched the whole look up. I get to the birthday brunch. You all run in with all the boys are wearing tank tops. And I'm like, so I talked to one of your close friends. I said, yeah, I was going to wear the tank top. And he's like, yeah, you're kind of covered up. I wasn't covered up, but I mean, apparently everyone's showing skin and I just need to get with the program.
I think it was it was the first warm day in New York City. It was like 74, and we just was trying to have the tatas out, honey. I was ready to have the tatas out.
Okay, from here on out, the tatas are out. I'm done playing. Okay, I got the memo. So, okay, got it. Thanks so much for playing. What a great episode. This is episode 465. You can follow my co-host. You can follow Jeremy on Instagram at JRossLopez. JRossLopez. Follow Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching, or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. And follow me on Instagram at Iam_Steve V, or follow the show at TAGSPodcast on Twitter. That's where you can direct message. We won't get canceled and all that good stuff. And join us this Wednesday when Joe, Kodi's boyfriend, joins us for Tags Live, May 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Get the link at TAGSPodcast.com. Click on the link, Tags Live. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, babe.
Always fun.
So fun.
And in the meantime, continue having hot,
gay sex.
Yeah.